What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to MLB Swing for the Fences here on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. It's Tuesday, August 12th. Got a fun 12-game baseball slate to talk about. We'll do another ticket contest and break down all the games, hopefully pick some winners. Joined, as always, on Tuesdays by Steve Boyton. Steve, how you doing on this Tuesday afternoon?
Doing well. Got some storms in the area, so hopefully things stay above board. So if you see lightning or if I just stop talking, you know what's happened. We do have a game here in a couple hours that we'll talk about in a bit. So we'll definitely have to look at weather for that. This is something that's kind of come on quick. It was pretty sunny all day. So we'll get to that later. But we'll do the ticket giveaway. We did that for the first time last week. Took down our guy Chunk the Deuce. So
yeah, well, I was going to say no ticket was given away,
right,
Steve. So
yeah. So we'll do the contest. It's a 3-man against DC and I. If you guys win, we'll get you into the lotto tomorrow. I see Chunk the Deuce is back in chat. Good to see him back, despite the loss last week.
Yeah, taking it like a champ. He's here to take his medicine. And yeah, we'll pick someone during the show. With that, though, we got a lot to talk about. 12 games to get to, and we start off with, I think, an important one in Yankee Stadium for the Twins and the Yankees. Yankees going with the lefty Carlos Rodon, and the Twins are starting something called a Travis Adams. Twins are just kind of playing out the string here, obviously, traded at the deadline, and I think this is a really, really good spot for the Yankees bats. Steve, the left-handed hitters in particular have crushed Adams throughout his minor league stuff. And yeah, I just think the Yankees, one of the better spots of the night. Rodon, decent spot for him too. I don't play a ton of Rodon for whatever reason, but I do think he's in play here. Pitching seems kind of wide open. We were talking prior to the show. Rodon, I think, got to be one of the guys in the mix for you. What are you doing with Twins and Yankees here?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Yankees, arguably the best spot on the entire slate, wrote them up in the playbook. I think it's interesting between the Dodgers and the Yankees. We'll get to the Dodgers later. You mentioned it, going up against, basically not quality MLB pitchers kind of throughout the Twins, bullpen starters. And like you said, the lefties here look great. Only one lefty reliever behind him in the pen. So I really like that. Basically, anytime the Yankees are on the slate, love them here tonight. We do have the lineup. Let me pull it up. I do have Saber open here up on the screen. We'll go to the Yankees first. We do have the lineup. Stan's back in there. So, yeah, Grisham, Bellinger, Ben Rice. Usually it's Ben Rice and Grisham who have at least some pinch hit risk, but I think they're going to be fine here. I agree with you on the Yankees. I think they look under-owned for this spot. They're arguably the best stack on the slate here, I think. Where were you with Rodon in the spot? He's kind of scuffled a bit of late. I know that you're not a huge Rodon guy long-term. He's up over 10K now. I've got him in the pool, but not a ton of confidence because things have kind of gone the other way for him lately, especially with the walk rate.
Yeah, I just have some weird bias against Rodon where I don't play him very often, and that'll probably be the case tonight with a bunch of good options. He just always seems like the results are better than what I expect him to be. I don't know, just probably not for me, but I get it with Rodon. There's a few good pitchers, right, with kind of challenging spots. So Rodon, certainly one of them. And yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the bullpen thing for the Twins, those lefties. I mean, they're going to get good matchups this entire game. Good place to hit tonight. Looks really good for the Yankees.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's a pretty watered down Twins lineup. I think Rodon's okay. Like the strikeout prop is good. I don't know. I'm probably not playing him over Peralta here. I'm probably not playing him over Skeens. But pretty sure, let's check the ownership projection. Yeah, still right around 20% on the slate with a good projection just based on that strikeout prop because the Twins lineup is a bit weaker these days, even though Buxton is back.
I do like the people in chat who I've never seen post anything before claiming it's their birthday because
Yeah. last week I just randomly picked someone that was their birthday.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to the Cubs and the Blue Jays. This one in Toronto. Two righties here. Javier Assad back for the Cubs. Been quite a while since we've seen Mr. Assad. Might be a piggyback game here with Ben Brown, I think.
Yeah.
It sounds like you confirmed that. So I don't think either of those guys are playable. And then Jose Barrios, no interest in me with Barrios. He's at 7,500 against this Cubs lineup. I actually think the Cubs are somewhat interesting here against Jose Barrios. So I do like them a little bit as, I think, a contrarian stack. Super expensive, but could see them getting the job done. What about you, Steve? What do you see here between the Cubs and the Blue Jays?
Yeah, kind of an odd game for DFS, a good real-life game. Cubs have got to keep pace with the Brewers, who have just been obviously red hot since the All-Star break. Probably a better real-life game than DFS game, I agree with you. Not on either side of pitching here. I think they'll probably piggyback with Ben Brown. Yeah. They haven't really let Brown go more than 60, 65 pitches since coming back up. He has pitched a little better. Assad, like you said, making a season debut, coming off the 60-day IL, got up to 68 pitches in rehab, but I don't see them with any reason to push him past that here. We're probably taking it slow with him. I think Toronto bats are interesting against Assad. He's a guy that we picked on last season, a guy who consistently outperformed his peripherals last season, if you remember DC. So he's a guy that I do like to attack. I'm not sure if this is the spot. The Cubs bullpen has been pretty bad, but on a slate where I don't think that there are a ton of great offensive spots, I think Toronto is actually interesting here. And they're not going to get any ownership against what is a quasi bullpen game, but
yeah,
I'm not sure if this is the spot that I want to attack. Assad's a guy that moving forward we're likely going to be attacking. And this could be a spot to get in early at pretty much zero ownership here.
Yeah, looking at Assad's picture, I kind of forgot what he looked like. It makes me want to stack against him. Yeah, he gave up some steals last year too. So, yeah, I kind of like that Toronto call. Actually, both sides I think look pretty interesting at low ownership in this game. So I'm with you there. Interesting game for offense for sure between the Cubs and the Blue Jays. I should have mentioned, Steve, Big T, did you see him on Twitter? He said to give away a couple of hats as well. So we'll monitor the chat for that. And, if you want some RPS gear, a hat up for grabs from the big man himself, Big T.
All right.
Let's get to the Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Spencer Strider, Clay Holmes here. I've been kind of banging the drum a little bit on Strider. He's just not the same dude that we saw, obviously, in his prime. And it's kind of coming back to get him a little bit. The strikeouts have still been decent, but he gets hit hard, Steve. I don't know how much of his – I mean, you can look it up in the stats too, but the two-pitch thing with Strider, right? It's just fastball, slider, and if he falls behind, he doesn't have 100 anymore. It's 95, 96. So I kind of like the Mets here as a super contrarian stack. I assume nobody – will be able to play the Mets against Strider. Had a really nice night with the Brewers last time Strider pitched, and I could see the Mets doing something similar. So I think they're interesting. Obviously not the best place to hit in Citi Field, but the Mets that you'd play have enough power, right? They hit plenty of home runs at home. So, Soto, Alonso, Lindor. I think all those guys are contrarian and fun spend-up options. Probably not playing Holmes, and obviously I'm out on Strider tonight. Just haven't liked what I've seen recently. Your thoughts here, Steve, Mets and Braves?
Yeah, I think Strider will pick up some ownership too just because of the strikeout upside. I've been with you. Even when we talked about him last year, we kind of talked about how fragile it was going to be for him if one of his two pitches, did come back to earth, because there are not that many two-pitch pitchers that are, dominant at the major league level. I think the closest is probably DeGrom, who does have a third pitch, but doesn't use it too often. But like you said, when he reaches back, he's not hitting 100 anymore. He's hitting 95. and his command hasn't been as good. So
Yeah.
there's just a lot of red flags, and this is a tough spot. Like they're going to New York here. The Mets have been struggling a bit, but I just kind of think that at that price tag, I'd rather go elsewhere. I'm with you here on the Strider fade. I do get it if you want to reach for the strikeout upside, but I think we have some cheaper options tonight that have some good strikeout upside. So I'm with you there. Can't play Clay Holmes. They're not letting him go deep enough in games. And then the Mets pen behind him is obviously elite. So no Braves bats for me. With the Mets, you're going to get them super low on if you play them because you see on the screen here, the price tags are high. So anyone that's spending this much is playing Ohtani or Judge or, just Yankees and Dodgers in general. So, if you are buying in on the Strider fade, you're going to get these Mets super, super low owned. So interesting call. And like always with the Mets, it's super easy to fit the top guys because the rest of the lineup is basically free, right? You got the free catcher in Alvarez if you want that. Seti Mullins is cheap in the outfield to kind of balance out that Mets stack.
Yeah, I think if I play the Mets, I'm playing just the 1 through 5, right? Lindor, Soto, Nimmo, Alonso, and then I'll throw in McNeil there at 2,700. They're already contrarian enough, so I don't see the need to kind of get off what I think are the best bats. But you're right. The other guys are cheap too. Marte, Beatty, Alvarez. Kind of like this spot for the Mets. I'll have them for sure on one of my main teams. Braves bats, interested there, Steve, at all?
Braves bats, no. Because I think it's going to be – if Holmes gets into any trouble, they're going to pull him here.
Yeah.
And the Mets bullpen is just going to be gnarly the rest of the way. On a big slate, I don't want to be attacking the strong bullpens because there are a lot of really, really bad ones on the slate that we'll get to.
Yeah. First hat, we're going to SportsBetter FM, who's
I was just about to bring that up.
often in chat, and I feel you on the balding with the hat. So we'll get you a hat, SportsBetter FM. Just DM me on Twitter, Draft Cheat, and we'll get you squared away. Can't promise a prompt arrival of the hat, but I do think it'll eventually get there. So yeah, SportsBetter FM. Congratulations. We got you a hat. All right, let's get to the next game. Detroit and Chicago. As you mentioned, you're in Chicago. It's currently storming or has been. Looks to me on the radar, Steve, like it'll clear out in time for this game to go. But sometimes the Chicago weather, as you know, can be tricky, and storms like linger or pop up when you don't expect them to. I think because of the lake there. I'm hoping this game plays though, because I like Jack Flaherty a ton here against this White Sox lineup. I think he's a little bit of a discount, which goes a long way on the slate. Strikeouts to be had against the White Sox. It's just it's a bad lineup in general, and I do trust Flaherty to go fairly deep into the game as well. So I like him quite a bit, weather permitting. And then the White Sox are going to go. Is a bullpen game for them. Yandres Gomez is going to start. We'll see how long he lasts, but obviously really good spot for the Tigers here against Gomez, and then whatever bums come in after him from the Chicago pen. So good spot for the Tigers, like Flaherty, and hoping the weather cooperates. Your thoughts here, Steve, Detroit and Chicago?
Yeah, I think it will. Obviously, it's hard to say right now when I can't even see it across the street because it's storming so hard. But at least at a first look, this looks like it, at the very worst, is a delay in play. I think the only way that it would be a washout would be, if the field gets flooded with, it is torrentially downpouring. So this is, I think, the main weather spot to watch on the slate. Probably one that we won't be able to make a firm call until right before lock. Because like you said, at times these storms here can just kind of hang over the city. So, we'll act as if this is going to be a short delay in play. I'm with you on Flaherty coming off the dud performance last time. Just a really, really nice bounce back spot here. The strikeouts were up in July, 30% strikeout rate. His xFIP was near the top of the board at 3.26, 3.3 Sierra. He's faced the White Sox twice this season and just absolutely shit on them both times. So I'm with you. I like the discount from like a Rodon. They're looking to be about the same ownership here. maybe the threat of storms keeps even more people away from Flaherty. I'm on Flaherty over Rodon here. I'm
Me too.
with you there. And then we'll go to the Detroit bats here. I think the main thing with Detroit is the pinch hit risk, right? We saw it again last night. They will pull Colt Keith. They'll pull McKinstry. They'll pull Sweeney. So you just have to be, at times they'll pull Carpenter. So you just have to be careful going in knowing that these guys are pinch hit risks. I worry about it less, DC, when they're not going to be owned, which is what it looks like here. If we look at the screen, Colt Keith the highest at 8%. I worry more about that if I'm playing into a super popular bat that's probably going to come out of the game. So, if the Tigers are scoring a lot early, we have probably less chance of these guys coming out. It's those close games where the Tigers really, really do pinch hit because they, that's one of the strengths of their team is a very, very strong platoon bench. And they're obviously trying to win games. So I like the Tigers. My only concern is the pinch hit risk ruining the full stacks, but obviously a great spot here if the weather holds up.
Yeah. Like you said, it's going to be one of those. It's just going to be a game time call. Hard to say for now, but certainly hoping to be able to play Flaherty and perhaps some Tigers bats as well. Let's go to Milwaukee for the Pirates and the Brewers here in the pitching matchup of the day. Paul Skeens, who is, I believe, a pretty big favorite to win the NL Cy Young at this point. Just a tremendous season from Skeens. Obviously, maybe even a little bit under the radar pitching for the Pirates, but he's been awesome and, if anything, getting better.
It's like he's getting better. Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, I think he is getting better. And yeah, he's just been essentially flawless for the last couple of months. But he does meet this Brewers team, right? They've won, like 25 out of 30 games. Offense just crushing it every night. And there's just, no way around it. This is a tough matchup for sure for Skeens. I think matchups matter less for pitchers of his caliber. There's not many of them, but they seem to be able to, if they have their stuff, dominate any lineup. And it wouldn't shock me, but you're also paying top dollar and into ownership in a really, really tough matchup. So I'm a little bit torn on what to do with Paul Skeens. And then Freddie Peralta on the other side, not as good of a pitcher of Skeens, of course, but he gets a way, way better matchup against this Pirates lineup that isn't scary whatsoever. Really, only O'Neill, Cruz, and Reynolds in the middle are even threats at all. So, yeah, I like Peralta a ton here. Curious where you ended up with Skeens and Peralta. And, yeah, what are you going to do with this matchup here with the Brewers?
Yeah, I just checked while you were talking. Skeens minus 600 now to win the NL Cy Young. Awesome in July, like you said, 1.42 ERA, 2.55 xFIP, the 34.2% strikeout rate during the month. My only concern with using Skeens over the last, 8 or 10 starts has been pitch count upside, but he's been over 90 in his last 3 starts, which is really the only knock that I had on him. He's
I think now that I think he clearly wants the Cy Young, right? And you can't, maybe the last couple starts, but right now, even at minus, they're not necessarily looking at the odds to win. They know he's got a good chance. I think they're going to let him go for now.
Yeah, no, I was saying it's encouraging that he's been back up over 90 the last 3. It's not a concern of mine anymore. It was more than, when they were keeping him in the mid 70s for a couple starts. I was like, oh shit, they're going to really screw his season. But yeah, this is as tough as a matchup as you can draw up currently. Like you said, 25-29, 18-4, I think, since the All-Star break. Second in weighted runs created plus. They're not striking out. But it's Paul Skeens. This is kind of like the skewball spot where it's a bet on talent spot. I'm only seeing 20-ish% own here. I think that's fairly low for Skeens. Probably one of the lower on the season. He still does project as the best raw point pitcher on the slate. You're just betting on talent here. It's a tough matchup, but they're only plus 110. The Pirates haven't only been plus 110 against a team with the winning record a couple times this season. So I really like Peralta in this spot. I think he should be higher owned. I'm only seeing 30% here. What a matchup, Skeens and Peralta. Peralta, throughout his career, has been a guy that people have kind of pigeonholed as a volatile guy. He's been very, very consistent this season. I played more Peralta than I have in the past. Like you said, awesome matchup against the Pirates. 29th in ISO last 30 days, and that includes the weekend at Coors where they went nuts. He gets, I think, by far the best matchup up top at home here. I guess the only the only thing you give Flaherty over Peralta is the chance at a win, right? Peralta's going up against Skeens here, where Flaherty's not. So I think it's close between Peralta and Flaherty. I lean Peralta. I really like both guys. I'll play some Skeens. I don't think I'm going to get to him on the main lineup at that $11K price in this spot. But I'm also not going to play any bats against either of these guys here. Yeah,
what I'm going to end up doing with Skeens is I'll play him if he fits, right? If I've got a 4-4 or a 5-3 that I like on DraftKings and you've got the salary, I have no problem playing him. But he's not, I'm not building around him. I'm not clicking him in first and trying to make him fit. Just fine with going down to Peralta or Flaherty. A couple other guys we'll talk about as well. So I like Skeens, but matchup is obviously concerning. I don't think it's concerning enough to actually play the Brewers, but no. I don't know. They've been just so good.
Good point from Camden here. Peralta's just been elite at home this year. 2.13 ERA, 74 Ks in 67 innings at home for Peralta.
Yeah, another point in his favor for sure. Love Freddie tonight. Washington and Kansas City up next. This one in DC will be hot and humid there as usual. Ball should be flying pretty well. We've got Michael Wacha going for the Royals. Kind of just a boring arm. Not on Wacha, but probably not going to too many Nationals. I do like the Royals a little bit here, though, on the other side. This one actually in Kansas City, not DC. But good place to hit tonight. Parker hit really hard by righties and seems to be even fading down the stretch, if anything. And then, Steve, you've got this Nationals bullpen that has been bad all year, but traded away anything worthwhile that they had in there at the trade deadline. And it's really, really ugly for this bullpen right now. I think the Royals can put up some runs early on Parker and potentially, pour it on late into the game against this Nationals pen. So I don't love playing the Royals in general, but I do like them quite a bit tonight. Where'd you end up with the Nationals and the Royals here?
Yeah, I played some Royals yesterday. And just like you said, they started to score against this Nats pen. When I was doing the playbook earlier, I pulled up who was in this Nationals bullpen. The names.
I did the same thing. I don't know who any of these guys are.
It's an awesome spot again here for the Royals. The Royals bats are the best plays in this game. Got the prices up here. Bobby Witt up to 6K. But the rest of the lineup is pretty much free. So no real issue with getting up to Witt here. Salvi has found the power stroke in the second half of the season, hit another home run last night. Mitchell Parker just, like you said, I think probably run out of gas. A lot of these younger pitchers on the Nats, I feel, we've seen it with Gore the last two seasons, when they hit their, career innings, not caps, but, when they surpass the innings that they pitched before, really, really tough for them. The Royals are not going to swing and miss. Parker doesn't miss any bats anyways. He's fly ball prone. I put in the playbook, the Nats don't have one reliever in the bullpen that's a major league caliber pitcher. So, if they get to Parker here, this could be a game where they kind of run it up against the bullpen. Really, really like the Royals here. The back half is a bit weak, but you do have some speed. Tyler Tolbert's in there. He's going to run if he ever gets on base. He's free in the 9-hole. So we're like the Royals here. I think Wacha is at least playable just because of the matchup here, right? Like the Nats offense has just completely cratered since the All-Star break. Even their studs are not hitting. James Wood has been atrocious over the last month or so. Waka was really good in July, 2.6 ERA. Doesn't have the strikeout upside of the top tier, but against a team with a lot of lefties, that's kind of what you want with Waka because his best pitch is that changeup. So I wish it was cheaper because he is 8,200 here. He's kind of on like the very back end of my pitcher pool. I think he's playable. I think we probably just see like a 6-inning clean outing from him here, where he gives you 16 to 20, which, we saw last night would have outscored all the top pitchers on the slate. Yeah. What a weird slate yesterday was.
Yeah. I'm with you there. And I had to double check because I didn't believe you, Broccoli, that Witt didn't have any home runs against lefties.
23 against righties.
Yeah. But like his numbers still against lefties, like a 43% hard hit, like all the metrics look really good. So he just must be running crazy bad. And that piece of information, I think that's a good one to get into the contest tonight for Ticket Tuesday from Broccoli Taco. So if you want it, Broccoli, we'll do a 3-man. And if you beat me and Steve, we'll get you into the flagship DraftKings tomorrow.
Yeah, Broccoli, DM me on Twitter, Steve Boynton VT.
Yeah, there we go.
The contest set up.
We'll get you in there. So good information there. Still playing Bobby Witt though. Not enough to get me off of Bobby Witt. Let's get to St. Louis and Colorado up next. This one in St. Louis, it'll be Kyle Freeland going from the Rockies, throwing from the left side rather. Good matchup obviously here for the right-handed power for the Cardinals. I think Herrera and Contreras at 2-3 looks really good to me against Kyle Freeland. And then Matthew Liberatore going for St. Louis. They've kind of scaled him down recently, been at 77, 85, 72 pitches. Seems like he's going to be a 4 or 5 inning guy going forward, which I think takes him out of play for me, even against this Rockies lineup, who what did Michaelis end up with? Pretty good outing last night, right?
He was basically on the winner last night.
Yeah. Didn't surprise me at all. But I don't think I'm getting to Liberatore here. I do think this Rockies lineup sets up way better against lefties in general. Saw them get to Eduardo Rodriguez the other night too. So, curious what you're up to with Rockies and Cardinals here, Steve.
Yeah, Cards in a great spot yet again tonight. Freeland, 10 bombs given up in only 60 innings outside of Coors Field, has actually given up more bombs on the road this year. Much like the Rockies, the Cardinals are also much better in the split against lefties. Second highest weighted runs created plus over last month in the split. That surprised me.
Yeah.
The lineup's really cheap overall. Colorado's got the worst bullpen estimators in baseball behind Freeland. Just look at how cheap this lineup is. They busted for everyone last night when they were really popular. And the lineup's better tonight because it's got Brendan Donovan in there. He didn't start yesterday. So I really like the top 5 or 6 here. You can play Pozo if you want a catcher in the 7 hole. So, I really like the whole lineup here. We saw Scott, if he gets on base, he's got 32 steals out of the 9 hole this season, stole 2 more bags last night. So it's not like you're completely dead with Scott there. Segis would be my least favorite hitter in this stack. So, I do like the Cardinals. I think their main lineup viable against Freeland here. I think they put up some runs. It's hot in St. Louis. Liberatore's a guy that I liked early. I kind of did a dive on him today, DC, because I want to play every pitcher against the Rockies. Mm-hmm. So look at who we faced during the month of July. Cubs, Braves, Dodgers, and the Padres twice. It's pretty much the toughest 5-game stretch for a left-handed pitcher that you can draw up. Now he gets the Rockies. I wish he was a bit cheaper, but like we just saw Michaelis of all people just shit on this lineup. It's not a comfortable click. They haven't said anything about, pulling back his pitch counts. I think it's just he's gotten beat up, and he has. I'm going to play some of them here. No one's going to be on them. We haven't had many 7K pitchers as big home favorites against the Rockies not be owned this season, especially of late. He's an arm that I believe in long term. Kind of a gut call here that he bounces back after that just really, really tough stretch. I mean, you can't draw up a better bounce back spot after 5 just impossible matchups for a left-handed pitcher. So, yes, there are red flags. He has not been good. 3 of his last 4 starts have been below 80 pitches, but I don't think that they're managing him. I think he's just gotten beat up. So I'm going to take a risk on that. I think it's a good spot to take a risk on a pitcher who's going to be under 5% owned against the worst lineup in baseball. So is it comfortable? No, but I like him more than guys around him. So I'm going to play some Liberatore tonight.
Yeah, makes sense. And who knows? They've kind of scaled back his pitches a little bit recently. Sometimes then they, let him go back up for a start if it's going well. So that wouldn't shock me either with Liberatore. Weather-wise, I do think they're going to be okay in St. Louis. I think the storm's going to clear out and they'll be able to play. But it is the other game that we need to keep an eye on with Chicago. I'm, as of now, a little bit more worried about Chicago than I am St. Louis. But certainly, if you're on this game, you're going to have to pay attention up till lock. No question about it. But yeah, hope it plays because I'm with you on the St. Louis bats make a lot of sense. Yeah. And maybe you'll get a share of Liberatore kind of, it doesn't take a lot, Steve, to talk me onto playing the pitcher against the Rockies. It's like if you can find anything, you're like, all right. They'll probably
we played way worse pitchers against the Rockies at 10 times the ownership.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I've played just pretty much any pitcher against the Rockies. It work out more often than not. Arizona and Texas are up next. This one in Arlington, in Texas. Jack Leiter going for the Rangers here. He's been a little bit better as of late. I still think a very volatile pitcher, but he does get this watered down version of the Diamondbacks lineup that honestly hasn't been terrible. The top part of it, Perdomo, Marte, Carroll, is still strong, but it just falls off a ton in the back half. So I do think Leiter at 7,100 is interesting. They've been a little cautious with his pitch counts at times too. So I do think there could be a quick hook for Leiter if it's not going well, but probably gets full run if it is. So I think he is a fun play. And then we'll get Desclafani going for Arizona. Been okay this year. 6K for him. I guess you could maybe make the case. I don't think I'm going to end up with Disco, though. I do like Leiter some, and then I do like the top of that Rangers lineup a little bit. Josh Smith, Corey Seager, super cheap, or minimum price, actually. Jock Peterson makes some sense to me. Steve, what are you looking at with the D-backs and the Rangers?
I like the Rangers bats here against DeSclafani. Not a pitcher that I expect to continue to pitch well this season. Broccoli, I just sent you the link to the 3-man on Twitter DM, by the way. The Rangers bats here, super cheap. I think there's some pinch hit risk in here, especially Peterson, Tellez, the guys who are just probably not going to face many left-handed pitchers, but they're also free. We saw Rowdy go yard last night. So I think that they set up well against DeSclafani here. It's mainly the price tags, right? Like you can play any of these 5 guys. Like say you wanted to play both pitchers in the Brewers game. You could do that with a Texas 5-man against a below average MLB starter who's probably not going to go very deep in the game with a bullpen that traded off all its best pieces at the deadline. So I don't play the Rangers too often. I think they're interesting on this slate. I think they work really well as secondary stacks too. If you just want to pick off a couple of the cheap bats here, Josh Smith leading off third base for 3,500 is a great play. I think, you get Jock for free in the outfield hitting cleanup. So the Rangers probably profile better as, 1, 2, and 3-mans, but I'm going to have some 5-mans here. And then Leiter, I think, is going to be the last guy in my pool just because of the strikeout upside. His walk rate has been pretty scary lately. I think both of us have gotten torched a bit by trying to attack this new version of the Arizona lineup. I just can't see them continuing to hit this well moving forward. So I do want to keep picking on them. Don't have a ton of confidence in Leiter just because of the walk rate, but the strikeout upside is good enough at this price tag that I think he's in the pool.
Yeah, and yeah, I do like Leiter a little bit. I do think that top three for Arizona is a pretty good contrarian stack, though. Perdomo, Marte, Carroll, all three really good hitters, no ownership, and Leiter is super volatile, right? So even if he's not on, even this bad lineup will turn over quickly. Might try to get that three man in there: Perdomo, Marte, Carroll on fire, as we've seen in chat too. So that does make sense to me as a contrarian option tonight. Up next is Boston and Houston. Astros got to Garrett Crochet last night. Tonight they'll try to do it to Dustin May, who I think it's his second Red Sox start.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the first one. He didn't look good to me. It looked like same old Dustin May, who I've kind of been on board with him being an overrated pitcher at this point. Don't know if I'll get to the Astros bats, but May's really been bad at both sides of the plate, pitching to righties and lefties. So I think maybe you could go for a contrarian Astros stack. And then Spencer Arrighetti going for Houston, making his fourth start of the year. First one was good. The last two, he's struggled quite a lot. But the prop market, I think, likes Arrighetti quite a bit here to bounce back, get some strikeouts. Kind of having a hard time getting there, but I do get it, Steve, at 6,500. Where'd you end up with Red Sox and Astros here?
Yeah, it's 6,500. K prop north of 5.5 is going to look good on any slate. He's a home favorite here. I'm with you. I think Houston hits Dustin May a good bit here. We've got our guy Sports Better in the chat. The swing strike rate has been there for Arrighetti. Only one start since coming off the IL. He got hurt after 2 starts, missed 4 months.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But, if we're looking for silver linings in that start, 10 ground balls to 1 fly ball for him has always been a high strikeout upside kind of guy. And I think he's more of a, 8K-ish pitcher than a 6,500 arm. So I'm going to buy the price tag here. We saw him throw 86 pitches in his first start back, so no real concerns there. Had a 27% strikeout rate last season. I just think he's underpriced for the upside that his arm brings, especially with strikeouts. Is it a clean matchup? No. That's why he's not going to be 40% owned here, because if he was facing a bad team, he would be at this price tag given the props. So it's a dangerous matchup against the Red Sox, but he's an arm that, like I said, I think is going to, by the end of the year be, 8K, 8,300, 8,500, not down in the mid 6Ks. So I think there's a lot going for Arrighetti here. Dustin May, his first start with the Red Sox, they completely changed his pitch mix, mixed things up a lot. I think he threw like 30% cutters or something like that. I don't really blame him because, he's a guy who does have talent. They're just trying to find something that works. Currently, there isn't something that works. And, Houston really helped themselves at the deadline, adding Correa, adding Jesus Sanchez. So I think Houston's one of the more underrated spots of the night. No one's going to play these guys. I don't really see why. Dustin May is not an arm that we need to be afraid of. We've seen it go extremely bad for him when it does. So you don't really have to fuck around with the bottom of this lineup. You can just play the top 6. They're all cheap enough outside of Altuve that you can, they're kind of like Texas and St. Louis, where you can just play the top guys. Like, they're not going to be owned enough. They're in great spots, and you can play the top arms with these guys. So Houston grew on me as I dug more into May, and it doesn't seem like they are changing his pitch mix because they see something. I think they're just kind of desperate, and what he's doing is not working. So
if you look at May. The Dodgers gave up on him essentially, right? On a team that's had a bunch of injuries, and he's been a kind of a huge hope for them for a lot of years. They give up. They give them essentially give him away to the Red Sox. And then the Red Sox, the first thing they do is change his pitch mix, right? Because he's not any good. So if he's trying to throw this different pitch mixes he's not used to, I think that leads to, or could lead to, higher blow-up potential for Dustin May. He doesn't even know really like who he is as a pitcher right now. So,
yeah, his velocity was down to 95 in that start. He's a guy who hasn't thrown that many innings over the last few years because of injuries. I think there's a lot of red flags for him moving forward, and a guy that we're going to be wanting to attack, not use down the stretch.
Yep, absolutely. So, I like that call on Eric Getty too, and definitely going to get a little bit of exposure to this Houston team against Dustin May. Just got to bet against May. It's a reasonable lineup. Seems like a pretty good spot to go with the Astros. We go to Los Angeles next for the Battle of Los Angeles, Dodgers and Angels. Dodgers going with Emmett Sheehan, who I think is going to be, or at least the Dodgers hope, in their rotation for the rest of the season, up to 7,700. I think he was on the slate last time we were, Steve, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
And pitched pretty well in that game. 5 innings, 5 Ks. Yeah, 22 fantasy points. Certainly, if you played him, it worked out. I think, though, he's just going to be a 5-and-dive guy. Emmett Sheehan is my guess. You never know. They could stretch him out, but I don't think they're super eager to do that. So it's kind of hard to play him given that thought. But
I like him too. I wish they would stretch him out more.
The strikeout upside, at least on a per inning basis, is definitely there against this Angels team for Sheehan. So he is still, I think, a little bit interesting despite the potential innings limitation. Really right-handed heavy lineup for the Angels, which is good for Sheehan too. He's very, very good against right-handed hitters. So a little bit interesting there. Angels are going to go with right-handed Victor Medeiros. Probably be something of a bullpen game here. Can't imagine it's going to go super well for Medeiros. I think the Dodgers have got to be on the list today, Steve. What are you looking at between the Dodgers and the Angels here?
Yeah, well, the first thing I'm looking at is Sabre just updated the projected ownerships, and we've got by far the highest we've seen on the slate here. You can see it over here for the Dodgers bats. So it looks like the Dodgers are going to be the clear chalk of the slate for a good reason. You mentioned that they're going to run out Victor Medeiros. He's a 35 future value arm at Fangraphs. If that seems low, usually we're not talking about 35 future value arms on this show at all because they don't start Major League Baseball games. They're usually middle relief guys or just guys who never make it to the major leagues. He's basically like a creative player. So he's been starting in the minors, but I think he's only on 3 days rest if I did my calendar math correctly. So, 3 or 4 innings from him before he gives away to a pretty poor Angels bullpen. If I had to make arguments against the Dodgers, this Angels bullpen's got 2 long arms that are both lefties who used to be starters. Reed Detmers, Brock Burke, both, at least major league arms. I mean, more of a major league arm than Victor Medeiros or, we talked about the Nats bullpen. These are actual guys who have made starts in the major leagues. I'd be surprised if we didn't see at least one of those guys after Medeiros to start. So, that gives me a little bit of pause with the lefties here, especially at ownership, because people are going to want to stack the lefties against Medeiros. I kind of like the righties. I like Teoscar, Pages, guys like that, Will Smith. And then, of course, Max Muncy, who's been basically the best hitter in baseball since he got contacts. So I actually like it when they have Muncy further down in the order because he's much less owned, and I think he's a great play regardless of where he is. So my Dodgers stuff is going to be more the righties trying to attack, Burke, Detmers, because I think it's not going to matter what side of the plate, the guys are hitting against Victor Medeiros. I kind of want to attack whoever comes in after that, which is going to be Burke or Detmers, probably to face, Ohtani, Freeman, something like that. So I was kind of long-winded, but I think it's important to kind of talk about the Dodgers more since they're going to be so owned here. The bottom of the order's got serious pinch hit risk. We've seen them screw with the second base spot a ton. We've seen Freeland, we've seen Rojas, we've seen Alex Call platoon in the outfield with Conforto. So I think there's pinch hit risk with what we have is the projected 8-9 here. And then, Sheehan's an arm that I like. The props are really bad on him because of the innings downside. And they let Yoshi go pretty deep, even though he was getting beat up last night. I think probably part of that was they wanted to save arms for today, and Ohtani's pitching tomorrow. So, they're going to have the middle/long relief guys available and ready in case he gets in any trouble. So I'm passing on Sheehan here until I see that they want to give him more work, and I don't think that's coming. And then I think it's interesting how you play the Dodgers here.
Yeah, you brought up Muncy already. I bring him up. I make a point to bring him up every single show just because I think he's the most underpriced hitter on DraftKings right now. I really think he's going to be like 6K in a couple weeks. Just go all the way up from the 3,900 when he got back from injury. He's just been insane since getting his vision corrected. So keep playing him. Keep playing Max Muncy. I'd try to get him in there as a one-off on as many. Obviously the Dodgers stack too, but that Dodgers ownership looks like too high to me, Steve, on a 12-game slate where we've got. I mean, there's a lot of good stacks, right? So
I mean, we've talked about we got the Yankees. You like the Mets, Tigers, Royals, Cardinals. Some interest in Texas. I like Houston.
Yeah,
we haven't even gotten to the Sacramento game yet.
No, 100%. So obviously Dodgers in a good spot, but there are a lot of good spots today. So probably not going to ride super hard with the chalky Dodgers. San Diego, San Francisco up next. In San Francisco, obviously pitchers park here. Robbie Ray going for the Giants. He's been really good this year. 2 solid starts in a row. Has the occasional hiccup, but overall been an awesome season for Robbie Ray. Obviously gets the low strikeout matchup against the Padres. I just personally don't play very many pitchers at all against the Padres because of the lack of strikeouts. So I'll probably be off Ray tonight. I do think he's a decent play. I did look at Cortez at 6,400. Just super cheap pitching in this park. Pretty good matchup against the Giants, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in the current version of Nestor Cortez, so I didn't end up going there, but I could see it. Maybe you want to make the case for Cortez, Ray, and any hitters obviously in this game. Go ahead, Steve. Padres and Giants.
It's not often that I'm on the cheap pitchers and you aren't. I like Arrighetti. I do like Arrighetti more than Cortez here.
I'm in on Arrighetti. Way more than Cortez for sure.
Yeah, kind of similar in that they both made like a start or two and then got hurt and came back at the exact same time. This is both their second starts back. He gets to pitch in the best pitcher's environment on the slate against a Giants team that, man, they've been so bad against lefties. Our hand in his chart, I would pull it up if I didn't have Sabre up right now. Over last month, dead last, 30th in weighted runs created plus, 28th in ISO in the split. There's some concerns about the duration, through 76 pitches first start back. I imagine they probably want to keep him around 80. But man, it's just a great matchup for a $6,400 pitcher. That's really, really cheap. We know the volatility of Nestor just in the type of pitcher he is, but he's also shown upside pretty much throughout his career, especially if he has things working. So this is kind of a unique slate where I'm going to have kind of like a barbell approach where I'm going to play the 4 guys up top, mainly Skeens, Peralta, Flaherty. Then I'm going to dip all the way down to Arrighetti and Cortez. a pretty good amount and probably ignore most of the middle range. I talked about having some Waka, some Liberatore, but those are just going to be sprinkles. So, it's a great matchup in the best pitchers park on the slate against a team that has done absolutely nothing against lefties. I don't love Nestor, but the price tag is just really, really good here. And then Ray, as you were talking, I was pulling up his strikeout prop. It's basically the same as Nestor Cortez's. So I can't play Robbie Ray at 10K here. I'll just go to the guys around him that we talked about. We both like Peralta and Flaherty more than him.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense to me there with Giants and Padres. Let's get to the last game of the slate. We'll go back over favorite pitchers, stacks, all that stuff after we talk about Tampa Bay and the A's. For people watching, we do appreciate it. Hit the like button if you haven't done so. Bringing you guys these shows free pretty much every day here for baseball season. So hit that like button for us. Help us out just a little bit. Rays and A's up here in Sacramento. As always, this park will play very hitter-friendly, best hitting environment on the slate here, especially for home runs. Lefty Jacob Lopez going for the A's. He's been, really, really good this year, coming off an absolute gem, 10 strikeout game, 114 pitches last time out against the Nationals.
Off the slate, of course. We've been playing him nonstop, and he crushes off the slate.
Yeah. And I like playing lefties against the Nationals too. Probably would have won that day. Say la vie. But yeah, Lopez here. I don't think this is a spot for Lopez personally. I kind of like these Rays righties. Diaz, Caminero in particular look good to me against Jacob Lopez. And then Shane Baz going for the Rays. Been kind of shaky lately. It's been over a month since he's had a really good outing. Been going 4 or 5 innings. I don't see it with Shane Baz in this park tonight against this powerful A's team, but this is a game for hitting, I think, Steve, where you want to focus on power bats on both sides. So I'm in on the bats in this one. What about you? What do you see in Rays and A's?
Yeah, what I've been doing with this park for, 2 months now is just kind of trying to ignore who's pitching and just playing the bats regardless. Like, this park is so good. Up until last week, the park factors were better than Coors. I just want to continue to play bats here. I don't, this is a good pitching matchup on paper. Like, as far as the games that have been played in the stadium, this is probably one of the, better pitching matchups. But that's the reason why the total is only 10 instead of 11.5 here. So really like both sides here. Our guy Sports Better has another good point. Baz reverts split sky, so that's going to be really good on the A's side for guys like Langoliers hitting second, Brent Rooker hitting third. We get Nick Kurtz. We do have the lineup here, as you can see in Saber. Kurtz leading off for the first time, I believe, this season. You get a cheap guy hitting fifth. Colby Thomas has some pinch hit risk there, but he's super cheap. Hernandez has really been hitting the ball. We talked about him last Tuesday, DC. He's been great for the A's. So, yeah, I really like the A's here with a slight lean to the right-handed bats. And then the Rays, they have Walls projected in. He missed yesterday. I'm not sure if he's going to play. But the one thing I wanted to point out, I had him in the core yesterday. Everson Pereira, who they picked up at the deadline in a deal with the Yankees. You don't get many hitters in this park with power who are 2K. So I just wanted to point him out in the Rays lineup here. I think he's a good play. So, yeah, I'm on both sides for bats. I lean the A's side because I think Shane Baz is going to be more volatile. I think Lopez is just kind of a overall better pitcher than Baz is right now. But I'm not going to shy away from either side here. The more we talk about the slate, man, there's a lot of good hitting spots. Yeah. When we first started, I wasn't super convinced, but I think I'm going to be fairly spread out for bats tonight, which makes me want to condense even more at pitcher.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's a slate to spread out and play a bunch of different stacks for people playing a lot of lineups. Hard to narrow it down. And also a slate to maybe get away from a chalky stack like the Dodgers when there's so many options that we like a ton. Yeah, do you know the answer to that one, Steve? A's or Rays? I assume
According to Saber here, it's going to be the Rays just because their price tags are cheaper across the board. Like the A's have got Kurtz at 62, Shea's 55, Rooker's 57, a bit more prohibitive to stack the guys that you want on the A's side.
Yeah, well said there. Let's go back over pitching. Yeah, I think we're mostly on the same guys, Steve, but your preferred pitching combination tonight, assuming weather holds in Chicago.
Yeah, it looks like things are starting to wrap up. I'm glad I was able to get through the show. I was pretty worried that the power was going to go out. It was really dumping at the start. I'll go Freddie Peralta as my favorite arm here. Just want to continue to pick on the Pirates. And then Urquidy, I think, might end up in the core. 6,500 with that strikeout upside, has shown the ability to miss bats throughout his career. I just think that he's more of an 8K pitcher than a 6K guy.
Love it. Like those options. I'll throw, again, weather permitting, Jack Flaherty. It does look like it might clear up in Chicago. Against the White Sox would be my top arm. And, yeah, you know what? You've convinced me on Urquidy. I think I'm going to be joining that train as well, as I think the best cheap option on the slate. I like Jack Leiter too, but I do feel better about Urquidy than I do about Jack Leiter. So that makes some sense. Let's do stacks, Steve. Give me 3 stacks you're looking at tonight.
All right, 3 stacks. Go to the Yankees that we talked about at the start of the slate. Really like the left-handed bats that you touched on with the lack of lefties in the Twins bullpen behind starter that's likely not ready. I really like the Royals. We talked about how I think we both agree that the Nats probably going to have the worst bullpen in baseball from now through the end of the season, besides maybe the Rockies. So really like the Royals. And then my contrarian play tonight's going to be Houston. They've grown on me. I just want to buy into the volatility of Dustin May, the fact that he doesn't know what the hell is going on right now. And he's making major league starts against a team that really did bolster their lineup at the deadline. And they're just going to be completely unowned tonight.
I like those for sure. Yeah, I think probably my biggest stand is going to be with this Mets team against Spencer Strider. I just think he's prone to blow-ups right now. And yeah, the Mets will be, they'll be dialed in for this game. They're trying to win every night. Obviously, they've seen Strider a bunch. Think they've got a good chance to do some damage. Yankees are at the top of my list. The Yankees lefties, I think, are the best plays on the slate. And then I think the Cubs are pretty interesting against Jose Barrios, who I think is pretty overrated at this point. Let's do a home run call, Steve, and then we'll get on out of here and get over into Discord and finish up our lineups.
I'll stick with Houston. I'll go with cleanup hitter Jesus Sanchez, 4K on DraftKings. I don't know. The Astros are just growing on me as I think more and more about how I think Dustin May is going to pitch down the stretch, and it's just not going to be good.
Love it. I'll go with Ben Rice, who's looking more and more dialed in for the Yankees, getting some everyday playing time right now, and obviously love those Yankees lefty bats in general. All right, that'll do it for this edition of MLB Swing for the Fences. I'll be back tomorrow with stats, same time, same place. Appreciate y'all watching. Good luck with your lineups tonight. And until tomorrow, I'm DC. He's Steve Boynton. We're out of here.